welcome back to On the Record. We're here at the Tech Data event in Los Angeles, and I'm here with Brent Kenney, who is with HP and on the rack space. What's your title with HP?
So I'm basically covering all rack and power infrastructure products within HP. So that includes racks, UPSs, PDUs, and KVO switches.
Interesting. So, did you cover it from a single phase and a three-phase, or is it just a single phase? Or?
Yeah, so we have a UPS lineup ranging in size from 500 watts up to 60 kilowatts, and single phase and three phase. So.
Interesting. It's a real strange category, UPS and rack space and all the rest of that, in a sense that, especially when you talk about it in the SMB marketplace, it's just like glazed right over by all the resellers. There's higher margins in it. It's going to protect them. If something goes wrong, again, it's never thought of. Well, I shouldn't say never, but pretty close to never. Why?
I think people are satisfied. I think a lot of partners are just satisfied with getting the initial sell, whether it be a server, a workstation, or a PC. And they forget to, hey, there's extra revenue out there. They just need to ask those additional questions. And a lot of times they feel like, they're pretty safe the way they are. But if you look at some of the instances that we've had here in Southern California with the recent blackout, the events on the East Coast, with the recent hurricanes, some natural disasters, things like that, I think people are starting to figure out that, hey, power protection is an important part of the IT spend.
Yeah, but you're talking about from the catastrophe point of view, and I agree for sure, and I do think that people are understanding it from that level, but the everyday workings of the industry, working on a computer and whatever it is, you're always losing things. And a UPS can do so much to help save a little bit here, a little bit there. I'll tell you, as a writer, I'll go through something, and if I write it and I have a paragraph, I go, that's perfect. And then, so that's one paragraph, 40 words. If I lose that, I feel like I'm going to hit somebody, Can you imagine if you lose a whole day's worth of work, or a week's worth, or a month's worth? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think that's part of the challenge of the job, is striking that balance between striking the fear in them, or making them comfortable with the current cell that you're working on. And I think that's a fine balance that you've got to play with partners and customers.
Yeah, we can talk about that more. As you go up into the three-phase, so you've partnered with Eaton for all the power, is that right?
Yes.
And so Eaton has traditionally played a little bit in the single phase and a whole lot in the three phase. Why Eaton?
Eaton's got a great brand recognition out there. They're recognized as one of the industry leaders in power protection. And we've received great feedback from our customers that have purchased HP branded Eaton products. And we're very comfortable selling Eaton products.
And so you're comfortable selling it. They're good products, I know that, because I've had them forever. Why, if I was to go, or let's say a VAR came to you, to make it simple. A VAR comes to you and he says, I've always been selling, notebooks and a few little servers here and a few PCs here and there, and now all of a sudden one of my clients wants this mega center for me, and I've got, I need 20 racks from you, and I need UPSs from you. I've never really sold any of that stuff. What do I do? Do I just walk away from it?
Absolutely not. I mean, first of all,
so tell me, I'll be the VAR. Tell me.
Yeah.
I'm just my arms up in the air. I don't know where to start.
Well, usually in that type of play, unfortunately, I guess for me as a rack and power specialist, usually it's the server that's driving the sale, right? And a lot of the infrastructure products are kind of an afterthought. So you got to lead with a great product portfolio to begin with, right? HP ProLiant servers are number one in the industry, so that's a great lead-in for the partner, right?
I want you to know, the people at HP would be really proud of the way you turned that one around. That was perfect. Keep going.
So we got a great product mix within the server. That's step number one. Step number two is you've got to be prepared to ask those questions. How are you going to protect your data from both power disturbances that come in from the wall and also from complete blackouts, like I mentioned earlier, what they're experiencing with these natural disasters, and even a simple mistake that somebody made at the power company to shut off power to millions of people here in the Southwest. So,
yeah, there's also, I mean, there's sort of, I always think of them as like little bugs, you know, like ants or even worse, bees or something that's going to always be there. Like you can do, if you don't take the right steps, you're going to get stung at some point.
yeah.
And from a VAR's point of view, well, the comment I always like to use is that you know, selling power condition is an insurance policy for your customer. Not selling power conditioning is like going in for the VAR. Is like going in with no insurance at all because something goes wrong. He's gonna be blamed by them. He's not gonna get paid. He's gonna lose a customer. Now, if I was a VAR, seriously, I would say, you know, would you sign right here saying that you know I told you to buy a UPS with this system and you didn't?
Yeah.
You know, because that way when they come back and they say, well, why didn't you tell me? You go, hey, here it is.
Right.
There's your signature.
Yeah.
Don't blame me for it. Do what I say next time.
Yeah.
And instead of losing a customer, they'll get a customer that'll say, okay, from now on I'll always listen to what you say.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's a catastrophe for them, not at the level of an earthquake or something, but to that small business or whoever the business is, it's
Data is their lifeblood, right? And without that data, they're going to be shut down.
so it's not the $1,000 computer that is at stake. It's all the data. And I know some of your competitors will give we'll give you back up to 20% of the value or 30% or whatever their deal is nowadays of the cost of the hardware they got room. That's sort of like saying to somebody who's in a hurricane, they lose their house, and you say, oh, you know what, we'll pay for, you know, 2 of the bugs that you had in the house. You know, it just doesn't work.
That's right.
Parting statements. Tell me, what would you really want to say to a VAR? Because you're talking to hundreds, like over 100,000 of them now. Tell them, what should they do? Other than selling the whole lineup of HP products, which I know, of course, is what they should do, right?
Right. Well, I'll stick to the infrastructure message.
Okay.
Right? So first and foremost, if you are selling servers, you might as well be selling HP infrastructure products. First and foremost, we have a great standard 3-year warranty on all of our infrastructure products. Secondly, on the power protection piece, so the UPSs, for instance, that 3-year warranty also covers the battery replacement. So we were talking about UPSs earlier. Typically, our UPSs, batteries in our UPSs will last 5 to 6 years. So that's why we feel comfortable enough to have the battery included in the standard warranty. So if something goes wrong within those 3 years, HP is going to replace that battery for free. Lastly, if the customers, like I said earlier, the ProLiant server is #1 selling brand in the industry. If you're selling an HP care pack with that ProLiant server, that care pack is going to be inherited on the KVMs, the racks, and the UPS, which is a huge value, right, for the customer. No additional cost to buy an additional service level agreement with another vendor. And it's a qualified option as well. So if they're selling HP servers, if they're selling HP storage, they're going to be, rest assured that customer knows that they're going to be protected and backed up by HP, who's a great vendor.
And not only that, it becomes impossible for the vendor, and every vendor does it because the industry is so scattered, they can do it. But if it's all their product, it's pretty hard for you to say, well, you know, for HP, and I'm not saying that HP does it, but, you know, at some point everybody does, and say, well, it's not our fault, it was their fault.
Exactly. It becomes a finger pointing game at that point, right?
Yeah, and you know who loses at that. And actually, the biggest loser isn't usually the end user, it's usually the VAR.
Right.
Because they somehow want to protect their customer.
Exactly.
Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank
Hope
you.
to see you again.
Appreciate it.